Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club will take on the 2.5-mile oval that is the Daytona International Speedway. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. If you are in Florida or anywhere near the state of Florida, you're in our thoughts and prayers, thinking good stuff for you. Stay safe, hunker down. Hopefully we can be a little bit of a distraction for you. But joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. Already some Hurricane Ian-type storylines are developing here, Patrick, because Tyler Seville, the guy who's dominated to this point in the season, won't be in attendance tonight. He's already lost power and electricity due to the storm, so we're going to have a different winner from last week.
Yeah, and I can't imagine how this is going to affect some of our other drivers because of how intertwined the internet is as a whole today. Will your internet provider try and route you through somewhere in Florida that doesn't have power? And maybe you could have a little bit of trouble during the race. So it's going to be a tricky situation tonight, but hopefully we all make it through the storm. I know virtually we're not going to deal with the storm, but again, it could have some implications.
Yeah, internet traffic is very heavy right now. We're seeing a little bit of it on our end. I would imagine you folks in TV land are seeing it on yours as well. Thinking about some of the names that may have a shot tonight, obviously, you posted the meme in our broadcasting notes channel of the roulette wheel. You really can't pick a favorite, but Will Wursler has had a fantastic season to this point. And the last time we were here, he dumped the guy right in front of him, Johnny Avila, to pick up the win. You got to kind of think maybe there's some mojo there for the 29 machine.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the goal for him tonight is to not wreck a teammate for the win, but a win's a win. And if you've done it once, you could do it again and again. On that same point, if I was a betting man, and I'm willing to put a wager on this, I will bet you a $10 crisp bill that we get a winner tonight that has not won a race all season long.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I was just about to bring up the point standings, but you make a nice segue into it. Tyler Seville has a couple of wins this season. Colton Harvey has a win. He is just now turning his first lap in practice. And Jeff Yenish has a win tonight. Jeff is not on the entry list as of yet. So not necessarily the worst call you could ever make that we're going to get a new winner. With that being said, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Colton Harvey up at the front. He dominated at Watkins Glen. That car's always pretty quick. But looking at the point standings as we get ready for qualifying to get kicked off here in about 20 seconds or so. Tyler Seville entering the night with a 20-point lead over Will Worsler. It's only 2 additional points back to Kevin Dick. Colton Harvey, 4th in points, 37 back. Hunter Waters, 5th in points, 51 back. Take Tyler Seville out of the equation, it's only a 30-point deficit between 2 and 5 as we see the Will Worsler cars trying to get down to pit road speed limit. This is something, it's really going to make the playoff race interesting here.
That is fantastic that they practice that pit entry together, because you want to pit with your teammates, or at the very least pit with other cars. And having experience doing that, even just once quick right before the race, just to know you can. Because that pit road is a lot narrower than it looks. It may look like you can fit 5-6 cars there, but it fans into like 2 or 3 wide maybe right at the entry. So it can get hairy. I think I can remember, what was it, 2016 in the truck series when they first put the stages in the trucks. The whole field dove in and they jumped about the whole field at the end of the first stage.
Yeah, that's kind of... We've seen carnage trying to get out here onto the racetrack. Let's bring up the side-by-side here, show you a couple of cars on the racetrack at the same time. Everybody is qualifying together, but not on the same racetrack, if that makes any sense. Basically, everybody's running at the same time. Saves you a whole bunch of time. Stage breaks tonight going to be lap number 17 with no caution. Lap number 38 with the caution. So we're going to get the caution at the end of stage number 2. Now, obviously, if you have any sort of an incident on the racetrack, you kind of know what you're going to get here. But tonight's scheduled for an 80-lap race, so it's going to be a 42-lap final stint. You kind of wonder if that wasn't picked intentionally, knowing where the fuel windows might line up.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. You're going to pretty much have to make a pit stop in the second stage, in the final stage, unless you get caution after caution after caution, which doesn't happen at Daytona. Daytona, a lot of times, just ride around waiting for it. Then with about 5 laps to go, everyone gets a little bit advanced in their pants. But at the same time, these Sim Racer Club guys, they seem to prove me wrong every time I say that. So I like that I said that. These guys are going to have an exciting, fantastic race then.
Yes. The commentator's curse in reverse is what I believe we're supposed to call that. First lap in qualifications is on the board. It belongs to Kevin Dick, 49.780 seconds. Andrew Moore goes quick time at a 49.74 with a 6. Brad Allison, 49.798. Richard Smith going to be 4th quick on the board at a 50.112. Everybody, with the exception of Tony Patton and Tim Knott, is on the racetrack in some way, shape, or form right now. Richard Fletcher, how about that lap for Fletch? 49.761, sitting 2/100ths off the quick time. Will Worsler going to be 3rd quick at a 49.764, but Patrick, this is really when we're going to start to see the heaters come in.
Oh yeah, some of the top guys, they'll wait, try and see maybe if the track's going to cool down a little bit, or maybe the humidity will come down, get a little bit more air into the engine. Not that that matters that much, but you see the top 3 are all within 100ths of each other. I believe it's even closer than that. So little stuff like that does matter way more than you think at a track like Daytona.
How about the top 6, all within a 1/10 of a second? It's even tighter than that. The top 8, Andrew Moore Jr. going to be quick, 1st quick, 49.746 seconds. Following along, Richard Fletcher on the left-hand side of your screen. Fletch, lap number 1, 49.761. Lap number 2, just a tick slower. Will Worsler going to hold on to be 3rd quick. Let's pick up Thomas Wilhite now on the left-hand side of your screen. Following along here with Colton Harvey as he's going to come down through the tri-oval. See what lap number 2 is going to look like for the 36 machine. It will be 2nd quick, 49.761. It's a dead heat for 2nd. Pick up the 83 of John Moeller on the right-hand side of the screen. Moeller's lap number 1 going to be good enough for 5th quick at a 49.767. Lap number 2 on the board for Thomas Wilhite does not improve. We'll pick up Daniel Pinkston as he is working lap number 2 here on the left-hand side of your screen. Right-hand side still focusing on John Moeller. Moeller down and across the line, and he will not improve. 49.828 seconds. Grab Tony Patton here on the right-hand side of the screen for you as the 22 comes down over the start-finish line. Daniel Pinkston, lap number 2, 49.934. It's a almost 0.2 improvement, but not good enough to move him out of 15th on the board. Left-hand side of the screen, the 04 of Cody Porter. Very slow on lap number 1. He's going for broke here on lap number 2, as is the 86 of Tony Patton on the right-hand side of the screen. He was 13th quick. See what he can do. Does not improve. 49.968 seconds. Lap number 2 for Porter on the board, and it will be quick time. 49.743 seconds. Even faster goes Alex Link in the 95. Oh my goodness. Tim Knott still out on the racetrack. He's going to be on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll pick up Max Williams. Last 2 cars to complete laps here at Daytona. Williams just getting out onto the warm-up lane. Tim Knott is already 1.5 laps into his run. 13th quick for Tim Knott at a lap time of 49.798 seconds. You got to go back to 15th place to find a 1/10 of a second. That's ridiculous.
I mean, all of these guys, they're using the same setup, same car, same tires. Doesn't matter if it says Chevy on the front of it, Toyota, Ford, doesn't matter. At Daytona, every car is equal. So all it comes down to is your driving skill. How can you get out of turn 2 without losing very much speed? You'd think you'd want to hold that yellow line, but the trick is to come up about half the lane. Or on your final lap, your fast lap. Start at the top of the tri-oval, right as you come across start-finish line. You want to come down, kind of ramp down the banking. Little tricks like that, and as you can see from the top 10, they all know those tricks. They're very well known. It's just a matter of how well can you execute them.
AJ Digby did not get a lap in qualifications. He will start shotgun on the field here tonight as we follow along with Max Williams getting ready to complete his qualification run through the tri-oval for the final time. See what Max Williams is going to do. He will be only 19th quick at a 50.155, and that will put a wrap on qualifications here for the Sim Racers Club. Wow, what a lap from Alex Link. 49.721 seconds. That works out to a lap speed of 181.01 miles per hour for your pole sitter tonight, Alex Link. I tell you what, that's a run that he needed. Only 2 starts thus far for Alex this season. 22 points back of 21st place Corbin Simmons in the point standings. No top 5s, no top 10s, and he's only completed 47 laps in those 2 starts. Does that make you a little bit nervous as a driver, Patrick, when you're a newer driver to the series, not much experience, already 20 incidents points on the season, a league that prides itself on being super clean? Maybe you have a little bit of a wild card here starting on the front row.
Yeah, that absolutely would worry me, because you don't know if Alex Link, especially with him not racing in series very often, you don't know if he's a Carb Cup regular, where all he does day in, day out is plate races. Just like we had a road course ringer, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen, you have your plate race ringers too, and those guys are very, very good, and sometimes very aggressive. They know what they're capable of. They're like the Pied Piper of these tracks, kind of like Dale Jr. was. But sometimes that gets to their head, and that's something you got to be wary of this guy knows he can make this move. Am I comfortable with him making that move? And it gets very, very hairy when you come to the final couple of laps, and a guy like Alex Link is sitting in third place, and you don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but he's going to try it.
Well, and how about this one? The other car on the front row, the 04 of Cody Porter, making his first ever start in the Sim Racers Club here this evening.
Another guy, no history in the series. He might be the best damn plate racer out there. We don't know. None of these drivers know. So maybe he's just good at qualifying. He's going to drop to the back. Maybe he's going to lead this whole race. It's a total unknown, and that makes these plate races fun.
I am a little bit concerned at this, but 90210 is checking in saying, I have a question.
Uh-oh.
That's a great way to get us in big time trouble, because if I read the next comment that comes in and it's something we can't say on the air, then I just have to be like, sorry, we booted him, which that's not what we do. But go ahead, fire away with your question here. Field getting ready and out onto the starting grid. This one is going to be an absolutely fantastic race here this evening. I'm very much looking forward to it. Let's pick up your pole sitter, Alex Link, here on the front row. There we go. That camera will work. Let's get you the starting grid for tonight's race. Andrew Link, Cody Porter on row number 1, separated by 22 thousandths of a second. Absolutely no information, by the way, on these guys. We'll have to get them to fill out the driver info form for us. But row number 2 will have the 77 of Andrew Moore Jr. and the 36 of Colton Harvey. Richard Fletcher, Will Worsler on row number 3. Best qualifying start in a while for Fletch. Looking to see some big things out of the 43 car here this evening. John Moeller and Jacob Williams on row number 4. Williams very, very good at the plate tracks. Will not be a surprise to see that too, or the number 8 machine up at the front by the end of this one. Thomas Wilhite in the 19. Kevin Dick out of the Great White North will line up on row number 5. A Canuck and an Aussie on row number 6. Johnny Avila and Brad Allison. Row 7 will have the 41 of Tim Knott and the 28 of Troy Haight. Hunter Waters, the fastest pickle in the South, going to line up alongside Tony Patton on the 8th row. Richard Smith the 2nd and Daniel Pinkston on row number 9. Row 10 will have the 8 of Max Williams and the 10 of Corbin Simmons. And shotgun on the field will be the number 21 of A.J. Digby. 21 cars scheduled for tonight's 80-lap feature event. The question here, we'll discuss this quickly. Now that JJ has announced his retirement and Dalton Kellett has been told by Foyt to find somewhere else, who's going to be the IndyCar backmarker?
Oh.
That's actually a tough question. We'll come up with an answer for that one shortly. I may have an answer that would surprise people, but...
Mark Plord.
Mark Plord. We didn't even get to the green flag, and we're already completely off the rails. That is beautiful. 80 laps, the scheduled distance. Alex Link, Cody Porter on row number 1. Andrew Moore Jr., Colton Harvey on row 2. Fletcher and Worsler, row 3. Jacob Williams and John Moeller, row number 4. Row 5, Kevin Dick and Thomas Wilhite. Field's going to come down to take a green flag, and as always, race fans, start of the Sim Racers Club at Daytona, going to be all yours. Lap number 1 about to come to a conclusion, and Cody Porter going to jump out to the early lead, able to clear Alex Lake as they went in through turns 3 and 4. 1 lap in the books cleanly, 79 more to go. Tyler Seville checking in saying, good luck tonight, everyone. Hey, stay safe, buddy. Hopefully you're able to weather this one as best as possible. Going to be coming very quickly will be some fundraising efforts by our friends at the Weather Center, presenting our weather conditions here for the evening. 66-degree ambient temperature. 58% humidity, winds going to be out of, we'll call it like the east-southeast at 5 miles an hour. An almost nice 67-degree track temperature as we kick things off here this evening. And yeah, anticipate hearing a good bit from us about the work that our friends at the Weather Center are doing, already getting ready to kick off their fundraising efforts. Trying to support the people of Florida as best we can through what are, quite frankly, going to be some very trying times here.
I saw some fire trucks in the water on the news today. I know DeWeather is very good at getting fire trucks sent where they need to go.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things that we'll be discussing here over the next probably 24 to 48 hours, and we'll pass along that information as we get it. Top 4 running all single file. First real battle on the racetrack was Johnny Avila having a peek on John Moeller, but looks like right now, well, maybe not. Avila looked like he was going to be content to stay in line. He's going to get a big old shove from Colton Harvey in the 36.
My favorite thing about these next-gen cars is the way they play race. I know it's not plates anymore, but it almost looks like the late 90s, early 2000s era plate racing. Everyone's spaced out, not so much bumper to bumper, but you can get these huge runs and get something going on the outside. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's something that we talk a lot about, is managing energy and how you're going to potentially work the block. As we see Johnny Avila and Richard Fletcher making a move up on the outside. It's almost like if you feel like the run is coming and then you get that third car in line like Colton Harvey just did, you can really make a big-time shove towards the front of the field.
Yeah, but it looks like they've stalled out just for now. I think the move would be to check back up, drop back in line behind Andrew Moore, and try it again on the backstretch.
Race leaders on the left-hand side of your screen, and a monster pack forming up here off of turn number 2. Let's get some comments up here on the screen here as well. Mike DeFeo checking in. 90210, yeah, I agree with you here, as we've got a battle shaping up for the race lead. Now if only Goodyear could make a half-decent tire. That's harsh. Early hate here at Daytona.
I was going to say, we were discussing that earlier over in TNT, where the Goodyear contract is up after this year. Do we see a new tire manufacturer? Do we see a tire war like we had in the 90s? With maybe Goodyear and General Tire next year?
I don't think you'll ever see a tire war again. NASCAR is very skitterish because of whether the claims were founded or not, whether they were accurate or not. The tire war was blamed for fatalities, including Neil Bonnet. There were several that were kind of, if the tires were not so on edge, we would be okay. That's how we got the rocks we have today. We got these ugly, god-awful tires. Oh, big contact! Couple of cars in the wall. We're going to stay green, I think.
No, I see one spin. Oh, he saves it too.
Holy
There's
cow.
no way they just lived through that.
Hold up. The battle for the race lead is insane. Quite frankly, we had a mess down the front straightaway. I'm not actually seeing anybody technically crashed, according to iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw some cars hit the wall, but they didn't lose a lot of momentum.
Here's the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, man. They were wadding
Like
stuff up here.
6 of them hit the wall, but they all kept going.
Oh, man, now this really changes the strategy game in some huge ways. Tony Patton, Kevin Dick on pit lane. Kevin Dick got a big piece of that, as did the 83 of John Bowler. Couple of cars involved in the championship battle on pit lane, and there are no... I think they do have one backup car available to them, but...
I don't think SRC does backup cars unless they have something special for the plate races.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think they do, actually, now that I think about it. You're basically out of luck. No, it's Ezra that does them. So, yeah, no backup cars. Yeah. You're in a world of hurt. Kevin Dick, Troy Haight, couple of guys that are inside the top 10 in points.
Now, the good thing about Daytona is, especially if we get a late race caution, if they can keep themselves on the lead lap, you can still get a good finish with a damaged car. You might not be able to get the win, you might not be able to pull out in front, but you can definitely still tuck behind the draft and keep on tugging along.
Well, they have not managed to stay on the lead lap. In fact, they're all now being scored 2 laps down. 90210 says, how did I not just witness a murder? I don't know.
Much harder to save than the last gen car.
Yeah, and now we have basically 2 lead packs that are going on here. Let's bring up the side-by-side. Your leaders are on the left-hand side of this screen. That's going to be back through 6th place Richard Fletcher. Fletch now getting a little bit hung out to dry, but he'll be able to tuck in and up behind Johnny Avila. The next group of cars is going to be, looks like 4 deep. That's going to be Max Williams, Corbin Simmons, Tim Knott, Thomas Wilhite. Following back off of that, it's 10 seconds back to Daniel Pinkston and Will Worsler. Another second and change back to Hunter Waters and AJ Digby. Wow. This race is going to be really interesting now, especially when we get late in this stage. Andrew Moore Jr. wants a piece of the race lead. He's going to get some help from Johnny Avila on the outside of the racetrack. Going to bring the 36 of Colton Harvey along with him. Porter and Link, the 2 cars that we were a little bit unsure of how people would play nicely with them. Well, they're back to the tail end of the line. Richard Fletcher going to hold down to the inside of the racetrack. So your top 6 have now swapped up. Andrew Moore, Johnny Avila, Colton Harvey, your top 3.
And Johnny Avila, I'm sure, is content sitting right there in second. Let Andrew Moore burn all the fuel he's got in that tank and get the overcut on him. I know Johnny's an overcut guy, but Johnny moves up high to block Cody Porter. And he's going to take the lead right as I say that. Oh, he's proving me wrong, these guys.
Well, that kind of goes with the whole energy management thing that we were talking about, though. He was able to get up top, get in front of the run, use that as a springboard to the lead, and now Andrew Moore is going to do the same thing down the backstretch, this time with Colton Harvey up under the rear end.
I just don't think he has enough momentum to do it. Yeah, you got to build it up from further back. I don't know if you noticed how far Cody Porter and Alex Link went back. They went way behind, pretty much as far back as Richard Fletcher is right now, and built up that run with a huge amount of momentum before they even pulled out. Again, they're pulling out too early, and you can see it kind of just stalls out in the mid-corner. You need a lot of extra speed to get that move done on the high side in the turns.
That, or you need to just get out there and kind of try to use the side draft a little bit, get some help maybe from that 3rd car in line, Richard Fletcher. You can sort of try to get it done. I don't know that you're going to go crazy with side drafting or anything this early in the race, but...
No, side drafting is fantastic, and iRacing actually models it wonderfully. The problem is, we're still racing over the internet, so your car might be 2 meters wide 1 second, and it might be 2.5 the next second. And to get the side draft to work properly, you have to be within inches of the car next to you. And I know I just used both imperial and metric measurements, but forgive me.
A little bit of crossing streams there, yeah, I will say that, but the point is still the same. You're talking about a car that is, 40 inches wide versus 41 or 42 inches wide. The computers are rendering the math in real time. It's not as simple as saying this is, the car is this. It's not the real world that you're playing with the actual laws of physics.
Yeah, each computer, every sim rig these guys run is making 1,000 calculated guesstimations every second. And the problem with guesstimations is they have a margin of error, and if both computers' margins of error get within each other, the cars crash. So it's tough to do, but if you're comfortable with the guy you're trying it against, that absolutely can work perfectly.
Have to say a huge thank you to the sponsors of the league here, as we're down to just about one lap to go here in stage number 1. Among those, simspeedshop.com. Check them out, simspeedshop.com. Overall champ's going to pick up a NASCAR style wheel. Spring champ Johnny Avila picked up a button box. The fall champion's going to pick up one as well. 3 additional button boxes going out for the safe driver draw. Absolutely fantastic. The pictures we've seen for these guys are their simspeedshop.com button boxes. Looks like quality hardware. Also, got to say a big thank you to Northland Leisure, putting up a cash sponsor for the stage winners, as well as Realty Executive Saskatoon, putting up a cash award for the fastest lap of the race. That currently belongs to AJ Digby at a 45.934. Cash awards for the hard charger and biggest loser of the race, coming courtesy of Custom Paints and Diecasts, as the green and white checker flies over stage number 1, and it will be Johnny Avila picking up the win over Cody Porter, Alex Link, Andrew Moore, and Colton Harvey. Coming around the 0-3 of Brad Allison to put that car 1 lap down. The 23 of Richard Smith, also a lap car. He's tagged in at the back. Going to be the first car 1 lap down. We're down to 14 cars left on the lead lap. 14th place, Will Worsler, is about a half a racetrack ahead. So no real danger yet of Will going a lap down. But this is also something, Patrick, now where we really have to start to think about the strategy. Pick up a guy like AJ Digby. He is leading the pack of cars, or in the pack of cars on the right-hand side of the screen. If you're that far behind, can you maybe play a little bit of strategy, try to get a couple of more laps of fuel out of the car? Maybe you get a yellow, things work out the right way, and all of a sudden you're in a good spot.
You can, if you have friends. If you don't have friends out there, you're going to do exactly what Johnny Avila does. Johnny Avila is in control of this field right now. You need a team of guys, like the Will Worsler Racing guys that are leading this race right now, to coordinate something like that. Otherwise, you're going to be pitting by yourself. You're going to come back out on track, and without a draft, you're 10, 15, 20 miles an hour slower than the rest of the field. You're going to go a lap down in 5 laps. So it's doable if you have friends.
Well, you mentioned having friends. That entire 4-car pack on the right-hand side of your screen, Hunter Waters, AJ Digby, Daniel Pinkston, Will Worsler, all Will Worsler Racing entries. So not only do you have friends, but they have communications as well, including with race leader Johnny Avila and 6th place running Richard Fletcher. They're all teammates within that Will Worsler Racing umbrella. So not only does this second pack or the backpack have the ability to talk to each other, but they can talk to the leaders and know where they are. That's really important.
not only that, they can communicate with Johnny Avila. Hey, we're gonna fake these guys out. You know, check up, make them think you're going to the pits, jump back out, and we'll all dive in, get the jump on them, and then we'll pick you up. Even something crazy like that, I've seen it work before. There's a bunch of really fun stuff you can do at the plate tracks just because of how much teamwork they require.
The comment coming in from 90210. Now if only iRacing could fix their server lag spikes in netcode and also fix the stalking problem. Yeah, well, it's sim racing.
I'm not familiar with the stalking problem, and frankly, I'm not sure I want to know about it.
That's actually kind of surprising to hear come out of your mouth.
I guess you'll have to inform me after the broadcast concludes.
I was just more making a crack that you were kind of the stalker type. But one way or the other, working lap number 23, thinking about things from a stops perspective. Oh, okay, yes. That is the exact real problem. Yeah, I don't know how much I agree with that. He's saying it's to let people use call signs and avatars, that kind of thing, and not make them use their real name. That puts
because then I would use DankSqueaker69, and it takes away all of the realism when you're getting passed for Daytona 500 by a dude named DankSqueaker69. Everyone using their real names almost builds a layer of trust between drivers. Like, hey, I'm not going to wreck you because you're going to find my Facebook and call me bad things in front of my family. So, using the real names makes it better. Now, I'm sure if you're the witness protection, iRacing would let you use your witness protection name, but let's be reasonable here, guys.
So, taking a look at the front of the field here, things have gone quiet. Actually, throughout the field, things have gone quiet. Everybody's kind of lined up, playing nicely. The question becomes when we want to make that first round of pit stops. Now at lap number 25, you're 3 laps away-ish from being able to make it as a 2-stop race. However, with the... Take a look where, yeah, see, if you can go another 13 laps, then you can make this a 1-stop race potentially. And I wonder if we're not seeing a little bit of that, because the 15-lap average, 46.66 for Johnny Avila, the 10-lap average, 46.64, the 5-lap average, 46.83. His best lap is a 46 flat. Tires don't wear that much at Daytona. You have to kind of think, are we backing things down a little bit to try to make this a 1-stop race?
You definitely could. I have won a Firecracker 400 not taking tires the entire race. How they didn't blow, frankly, I don't know. Thanks, iRacing. However, at some point, you're going to want to take at least 2 just to have fresh rubber on the car, just so they don't blow. I know the tire model has gotten a lot more realistic over the years, and you will have a tire go down if you wear it all the way to 0%. You wear it down to the cords, it's gone. You do not want to do that, so you might not do it for speed as much as you will for safety.
Well, getting a little bit of an answer here is we have Corbin Simmons on pit lane, as was Max Williams. Also, the 2 with Jacob Williams. Maybe a little bit of early strategy, trying to play an undercut. Go long, pick up the track position at the front of the field. Everybody's going to have to make a pit stop anyway. Oh, man, that was a risky re-entry there.
Seeing the whole field have to kind of snake around them.
But now, where they came out of pit lane, gonna have them right close to the tail end of this lead pack.
Yeah, which puts them right in prime position. When this lead pack pits, that's going to put them right back in the lead lap. And knowing a caution's coming out, I believe at lap 38? Yes, lap 38. Yep. So if you have 10 laps to the caution, as long as you're on the lead lap then, you're perfect.
Well, the other kind of question becomes if could those guys, yeah, see, they would be a lap down though, so they wouldn't be able to pick up. They would have to take the wave around if we don't get a caution.
This lead pack of cars is going to have to pit before that caution. So they're going to get their lap back that way.
Are we sure of that, though?
I'm 95% sure. Again, I haven't done a race in the next gen yet, so I don't know what the exact fuel numbers are. But I know the fuel tank is about the same size, the engine's the same size, and the bodies, the frontal area is about the same size. So they're getting about the same fuel economy. So I would think you can only do 35, 36 laps a stint.
Yeah, that's going to make things very, very interesting. Especially when we start to think about this second group here that has, let's get them up on the screen, headed by AJ Digby, Will Worsler, Hunter Waters, Daniel Pinkston. Are they playing some shenanigans games back there? Their lap times, the 15 lap averages, 47 flat. I'm sorry, 49.7. 47 flat to the 15 lap average for the leaders at a 46.7, 46.8. They're definitely, they've been 0.2 or so slower than the leaders for basically since that incident happened.
Yeah, obviously the damaged cars aren't going to move as fast. They have to be in that main front pack if they want to do anything with a damaged car. Which, basically they're relying on the caution, just kind of waiting for it to come out, not going a lap down until then.
No, correct. No, but I don't know that these cars are damaged. I'm thinking they were just kind of caught out by the incident, lost a bunch of ground. If everybody up front has to pit before the caution and that pack on the right-hand side of the screen does not, they could theoretically put everybody a lap down, and we could be down to 3 or 4 cars on the lead lap when we go green. It's a crazy strategy if they're able to make it work. But the guy at the head of the line, AJ Digby, is the guy I want to be following if I'm trying to play that strategy game.
Yeah, AJ Digby is a master with the fuel numbers. He's a master at the strategy. He'll come out of nowhere and finish third tonight. So I definitely want to follow him and just kind of copy what he does. You don't even have to talk to him. I know they're all on a call together, but you don't even have to talk to him. Just watch what he does and copy, and you'll finish pretty all right.
The only possible issue they have is we are getting very close to these cars going a lap down. Race leaders are off of actually, no, they're not. They're just entering turn 3, and the leaders are in the middle of the tri-oval. I thought they were coming off at turn 4. There's still half a racetrack behind here. And basically all they have to do is get to the caution and hope everybody in front of them has to pit. And the worst that happens is if they don't, if the front guys don't have to pit, they just pack up and get down pit lane.
Also, I'm not sure that Johnny Avila would put them on them. If they're not damaged, which he has communication with those 4 guys, he can kind of just pick them up and throw them at the front end of that pack. Well, not anymore.
I was going to say,
Fletcher is taking the lead.
Richard
Fletcher, however, is also a WWR driver.
Yes, he is, and he's got Brad Allison with him as well. Brad Allison, a Will Worsler Racing driver. Now, Allison is, let me see, 1 lap down in the 13th position, it looks like. Yep, 1 lap down in 13th. So now we got some lap cars that are involved in the, well, we'll say, leading shenanigans at the front of the field. Leaders are going to come off of turn number 4. They will see lap number 35 go up on the board, and it'll be 4 laps to go in stage number 2.
Now I'm starting to think, these cars could probably do about 40, 41 laps. I remember when I ran them, they ran limited fuel tanks. When I ran the Gen 6, they ran limited fuel tanks. So it might get nuts because you can make it to the end, I would think, with my other man. But at the same time, do you come down the pits a lap early and kind of undercut everyone? I know that's not allowed in the real world, but I'm not sure SRC has a rule on that.
I believe they do close the pits with 2 to go, so they would have to make that move fairly quickly. What's really interesting here at the front, Richard Fletcher, the race leader, is the car at the head of this pack. Second place is Johnny Avila. He's actually the 4th car in line, with Richard Smith on the outside with Andrew Moore. The cars of Brad Allison and I believe that's Kevin Dick are the 2nd and 3rd cars in line. They both have damage repairs. Things could get wild here as we get down to a couple of laps to go here in stage 2. You want the stage win, you want the stage points.
Yeah, and with that much of a gap to kind of build up, I don't know if it's worth going for, but Andrew Moore's going to try.
He's going to have some help. I believe that's Corbin Simmons tucked up behind him. Richard Smith just ahead. Nothing that Fletcher can do.
Unlapping himself now.
I was going to say, and that's going to put Richard Smith back on the lead lap. Corbin Simmons, if he can sneak past, will also get back on the lead lap. Oh, Moore thought about throwing the block. Oh, they're getting a little squirrely. Hold on to it, boys. Nice save. But now Corbin Simmons also ahead of the race leader. So is Max Williams right alongside. This is lap number 38. We could see 3 cars work their way back on the lead lap as Colton Harvey now comes past Moore for the race lead. He gets absolutely hung out to dry. What a masterful piece of work. That's the YJ Esports guys getting multiple cars back onto the lead lap. Colton Harvey having the move to the outside. He almost puts it off the wall. They're 3 wide, coming to the line. Oh, and big contact. Oh. We're wadding them up behind them. Caution flag is out. Alex Link's going to be involved. Richard Smith is in that one as well.
I want an onboard from Johnny Avila through that.
And I think Richard Fletcher may have gotten a piece of this action here. Let's take a look. Yes, he did. That car going to slide backwards over the start-finish line. Take a look and see what happened here. Little bit of a squirrely off the corner. Johnny Avila did get a piece. Oh, wow.
Thread in the needle.
Barely got a piece. Oh, my goodness. We are going to have to go on board with Johnny Avila for this one. Oh
he didn't
my
turn the wheel
goodness.
more than what, 10 degrees?
That was impressive. Andrew Moore Jr. getting the win in the stage over Colton Harvey. That's something that I would imagine is incredibly frustrating for some of these drivers that are running up at the front of the field. Richard Fletcher basically getting caught out because lap cars were trying to get themselves back on the lead lap. All 14 cars that were on the lead lap are down pit lane. Richard Smith II is on pit lane, as is John Moeller. We'll keep an eye on the stops here and see who's going to be out first. And it'll be the 36 of Colton Harvey. Great stop for Colton Harvey's crew, 14.9 seconds. Andrew Moore Jr. going to be down and away, 15.6. 15.3 for Cody Porter. Johnny Avila at a 15.4. Alex Link, 17.6. Will come out in the 5th position. What a heartbreaker for Richard Fletcher. That 43 car, unfortunately, still sits on pit lane as a result of the contact. A great run for Fletch all night long. Fletch, you may need to break out the cartoon anvil paint scheme for next week.
Both the Richards, Richard Fletcher and Richard Smith, have had the worst luck these past couple weeks. They need to like bring a 4-leaf clover, maybe a lucky rabbit's foot in the car with them next time, and man,
it's just gutting for these guys. If it was not for bad luck, there would be none at all. Coming up in the next couple of weeks for the Sim Racers Club, going to head off to Kansas Speedway next week for a 117-lap affair, followed by October 12th, 250 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. That one's going to be fun. Unfortunately, Bizzle and I won't be on the mic for that one. We'll be working down, well, possibly, going to be working down in Bradenton, Florida. So got to say a huge thank you to Gary Godso and his whole team. They're going to be stepping up and picking up the broadcasting reins for us here for a week. Coming up after that is an off week, October 19th, before we head off to Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, and Martinsville to get us into the middle of November. You're going to have some help. You're going to have Gary in the booth with you November 2nd as well, Patrick. I will be on my way out of the country, probably heckling you from an Aer Lingus flight.
It's okay. I will be doing the same to you on an Aer Lingus flight the day after Christmas.
So there we go.
Tell you what, you leave a note on the Blarney Stone and I'll pick it up when I go visit on New Year's.
Yes. We'll discuss that one off air. But just past the halfway point, Colton Harvey is your race leader. Hard luck driver of the night is John Moeller. It looks like he will finish in, well, he's back on the racetrack, so he currently runs in 19th. As the green flag goes back in the air, we are underway once again here at Daytona. A little bit of crafty fuel saving. They're going to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. And we definitely have a shuffling of the running order. That is for sure. After that cycle of pit stops, on board here with your race leaders, we head down the back straightaway.
AJ Digby already up to the 9th position. He went from danger, I don't want to say danger, but risk of going a lap down to he's now in this pack in the top 10.
Yeah, the other one that's up there is the 23 of Richard Smith. He's working his way forward. Smith only being scored 1 lap down. Richard Fletcher able to stay on the lead lap, but he's going to be about a quarter of a racetrack behind. He's going to need some caution help. Now, it's Daytona. They're going to wad the field up at some point. At least that's kind of the expectation.
You would think, but every time I have gone to Daytona for a 500, it's been a relatively caution-free race. Last time I was there in 2016, the only wreck was Danica Patrick spun on the backstretch, didn't even hit anything. It was a shame. I wanted to see some.
Pinkston gets shoved down below the line. Oh, here it is. Big contact. Huge wreck towards the back of the pack. The big one.
I'm going to need an onboard again. I'm going to need an onboard with Johnny Veal again, threading the needle twice now.
And there's Fletch. He's going to stay on the lead lap. Daniel Pinkston got a big piece of that. He is unfortunately going to have to take the tow down pit lane. Let's take a look here and find you a Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay, because that one was a mess. That was on board with Daniel Pinkston. Let's get you the outside look here and see what happened. Pinkston kind of got shoved below the line. Little bit of contact. Nowhere for several of these cars to go. But once again, Johnny Avila going to find his way through the mess.
There isn't a hole there. Like, the sea's parted for him.
Impressive.
I'm gonna have to fiddle with Johnny's paint scheme. Maybe I'll hack into his system and change the name over his door to Moses, because twice now the sea's just parted for him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes better to be lucky than good. And sometimes it's good to be both. This caution flag is basically going to guarantee that everybody can make it to the end without needing a stop. And we're going to see that here out of Colton Harvey. In fact, most of the rest of the field going to come down pit lane. Only Andrew Moore, Will Worsler. That's going to be the only two that stay out on the racetrack. If you could make it 39 laps, you got some caution help. I don't see any reason to come down here unless you're just going to say this is it. Top it off with fuel and be good to go. It doesn't account for the green-white checkered, and these drivers stopping now have probably bought themselves that amount of fuel.
Yeah, from what we saw in the first half of the race, these drivers who stop now, they're going to be able to make it to the end. As long as they can stay within the draft. If they lose the draft, it might get close, but they should be pretty all right.
Yeah, it's not a concern for Colton Harvey, Max Williams, Tim Knott. Those guys have been quick. Corbin Simmons, Alex Link, Cody Porter, Thomas Wilhite, Richard Smith, Daniel Pinkston, all on pit lane. Pinkston had to take the tow. Jacob Williams in the 2 also on pit lane. Something that's a little bit surprising to me here, Patrick, is the fact that early attrition is going to play a role in this race. We're down to only 10 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that seems to be the way Daytona and Talladega go in the sim racing world, because you don't have the fear of the 200-mile-an-hour crash like you do in real life. You're sitting in your computer chair, you crash, you get mad, you drink a beer, everything's all right. So you tend to go for riskier moves, and that tends to wreck a lot of race cars.
Yeah, and especially with this next-gen car, I think that's part of the reason that maybe we haven't seen incredible racing out of the next-gen cars. For whatever reason, these hits hurt. They hurt significantly more than what we saw out of the Gen 6 car. Drivers aren't willing to take the risk.
And even like with Cody Ware's crash at Texas, with what the driver's been saying about the hits, I was really concerned, especially when I saw him get out of the car and just drop. Now, thankfully, he was okay, and hopefully he'll be in the car next week, but hopefully that was a wake-up call to whoever's in charge, and hey, we need to fix something with these cars.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of guys that, quite frankly, good fabricators talking about some of the changes that they should probably consider making to the cars. We'll get to that one here in just a little bit, but a lot of things, apparently it sounds like the crash structures are too good, and so basically what's happening is they're crumbling, and then so the chassis is still bearing the brunt of the impact. And when the chassis bears the brunt, the driver bears the brunt.
I almost feel like these cars should take more of an open wheel approach and fling parts away from the car. Not that you want to fling them to the spectators, but dissipate that energy away from where the driver sits.
Yeah, the being made of carbon fiber, those bumpers should practically explode on impact. Something the open wheel world has figured out for a very long time. We'll see if it comes to NASCAR or not, but give you another shot here. The iRacing safety truck's going to make the hard left-hand turn, and y'all at home, go ahead and crank it up. The field making their way off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Going to be Will Worsler at the head of the field, picking up his first lap lead of the evening. Andrew Moore, Colton Harvey, Tim Knott, Hunter Waters, your top 5 as Harvey pulls up out of line. He's going to have the 8 of Max Williams popping up in behind. I'm sorry, that's the 41 of Tim Knott. Max Williams, couple of cars back there on the inside lane. Under the lights, those two cars look very similar. 31 to go here at Daytona. Still 12 cars on the lead lap. The only car not on the racetrack right now is the 19 of Thomas Wilhite. Man, Corbin Simmons shot out of a cannon off at turn 2.
Yeah, he's going to take the lead and bring along 3 cars with him. They're 3 wide now for second place. Oh, man. Get hairy.
Oh, one car bouncing off the outside wall. That's Johnny Avila. Johnny Avila bounces off the outside safer barrier. He's going to be damaged on the right-hand side of the car. This may be a survival mission now for the 63.
It's not often we see Johnny Avila on a survival mission, but he
almost and they get turned!
Does he thread another needle? No, there's no needle to thread. That wall instantly stays the wall. Oh, man.
AJ Digby involved in that, as is the 41 of Tim Knott. Contact down the back straightaway. Going to put us under the caution flag, I believe the 4th caution flag of the evening. Take a look at the onboard first from Tim Knott's car. Oh, yeah. Tried to get up. Not enough room. Take a look from outside the race car. Trying to get up. Little bit of contact with A.J. Digby. Wow. How did Max Williams avoid that?
Gonna need an onboard there. Oh, man.
I tell you what, what's really interesting about that is you could hear the slightest breathe of the throttle out of Max Williams' car. Just enough that he was able to avoid that.
And that's what being a good race car driver is about, is sensing what's about to happen. You almost have to be able to see into the future. Because every movement you make with the car is delayed. So being able to see that happening almost right before it happens, coming out of the throttle, and being able to avoid it, it's a talent. And sometimes I possess it, and sometimes I don't. It's something that you really need to hone in on.
Maybe that's why I'm not good at this. I don't have that sixth sense of something's going to happen here. Or at least if I do, it's usually I'm about to cause something here.
Well, you also use a steering wheel for your sim rig that I'm willing to bet was manufactured the same year I was born.
Yes.
We need to get you on some updated hardware, man.
Yeah. That'll come eventually. I'll tell you what, now down to 28 laps to go. We're setting up for what is potentially a very big shakeup in the point standings here. Obviously, with Tyler Seville not racing tonight, Will Worsler was likely to pick up the points lead, or at least close the gap significantly. Worsler runs in the 4th position. Kevin Dick, who was only 22 points back, 20th position here this evening. He's going to tighten it up, but he's not going to pass Tyler Seville here this evening. Colton Harvey, he's your race leader, and he entered the night 4th in points, 37 markers back. We could see Colton Harvey take over the points lead before the night is out, depending on how this all shakes out. Hunter Waters is currently 2nd and 5th in points, 51 back. We're real. Even Johnny Avila, who was short a start, was going to make up some ground, but he's not going to make up a ton running 11th.
No, he's going to have to make some moves here. Either that or just keep getting lucky with these wrecks. I'd rather be lucky than good. Who was it that said that? Roger Penske?
I don't know. Mark Twain, maybe? Anyway, got to thank everybody who's tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it, and hopefully you are enjoying the show. Give us a shout. Let us know where you're watching from. Get up active in the comments. I'd rather talk to you guys than talk to Patrick.
Thanks, bud.
I'm here for you, brother. 12 cars still remain on the lead lap. It's going to be 13 when Brad Allison gets the wave around. Looks like Richard Smith II also going to take the wave. That will put them back on the lead lap. So it'll be 14 cars with a shot at this. Richard Smith II has been wrecked twice tonight. Well, maybe not. Looks like Brad. I see him towards the back of the pack as well. So green flag goes back in the air. Underway with 26 laps to go. 12 cars remain on the lead lap. And at this point, we have cars at the front of the field. Hunter Waters was at the very least really close to the first big one we had exiting the tri-oval early in this race. We may not have a ton of cars that are clean here at the front of this field.
Which is the way I like to see Daytona. I like to see Daytona where the carpooling in victory lane doesn't even look like a car anymore. This is a battleground.
Yeah, potentially borderline silliness, but yeah, we'll take that.
You gotta fight for a win here. It's Daytona. The racing capital of the world.
Self-proclaimed racing capital of the world, by the way.
It's got the Le Mans chicane. It's internet.
The Le Mans. We're not even going to discuss that one tonight.
I was there when they named that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I will say, I am very excited to see that BMW hypercar at Daytona in January, though. Those hypercars look fantastic.
Send me down with a camera this year. I'll get you some good shots of it. It's going to be a beautiful car.
I may have to make that trip this year. So Hunter Waters up. Oh, little contact. Oh, what a save. Colton Harvey. He wrecked. He just didn't finish it. Right in the middle of turn 2 off the front bumper of Max Williams. We know how aggressive Max Williams can be. And quite frankly, if you want to test out the drafting partner, now's kind of the time to do it. You're down to 24 to go. You don't want to have to know if you can trust the guy with 2 to go.
Yeah, I'd much rather wreck a guy here than wreck a guy with 2 to go, because if you wreck him here, he's going to forgive you by the end of the race. You wreck him on the last lap, and you'll never hear the end of it.
Mike DeFeo saying, playing Madden and watching this at the same time. Currently beating the Bears 10-7. If I lose, I'm blaming you guys.
Well, who are you playing as playing the Bears? I mean, if you're playing as Tampa Bay and you're beating the Bears, then you just suck. If you're playing as the Browns and you're beating the Bears, then yeah, you still probably just suck. If you lose to the Bears, you just suck at Madden. I'm sorry about it. Michael DeFeo, a personal friend of mine here on the island.
I'm assuming based on the New York Yankees avatar that he's got there, he's probably not playing as the Browns. He says he's playing as the Ravens.
Ugh. Why?
I'm sorry. Better life choices there, bud. Single file here at the front with 22 to go. The top 7 are all lined up, but they have lap traffic intermixed with them. Top 4 starting to get away a little bit here. The return of Fletch. Don't break out the cartoon anvil just yet. I'm knocking on wood saying this. It's not my fault. Richard Fletcher is back up inside the top 5 after spending quite a bit of time on pit road. I may shotgun a beer if Fletch is able to win this race. We're not supposed to have favorites, but this is a great story. Richard Fletcher has had every possible methodology of cartoon anvil fall on him. At some point, Wile E. Coyote has to win, right?
I believe so. It's like Tom and Jerry. Tom sometimes wins.
The law of large numbers says Fletch is going to get one eventually.
He's good too. It's not even like he's a bad driver. You have to throw his stats out the window. He's not a bad driver. He just doesn't have good luck week in, week out. But he's always up there. And he's got a definite shot to do it this week. I will join you in that shotgunning of a beer.
It will definitely be a party. If anything, it's a chance to break out the Mike Joy. 20 years of trying.
What was that? 302 starts before he finally got his win?
Well, no, I was thinking Dale Earnhardt's win at Daytona in '98.
Yes.
Big move up to the outside by Colton Harvey, and not sure if that was just him getting loose off the exit of the corner, but he's trying to get some help here down the backstretch. Wants to make a move on Andrew Moore. Ty Gibbs style blocking going on down the back straightaway. Harvey again wants to have a run. This time he's going to get Andrew Moore at the line. He's got Tony Patton with him. Is somebody else going to get out of line and help? I don't think it's going to come out of the top two. That's Will Worsler Racing teammates Hunter Waters and Will Worsler.
Richard Fletcher building a little bit of a gap. Let's see if he can get something done here. Maybe pull to the outside. There's still a car next to him.
Yeah, he's going to have the run a little bit here on Andrew Moore. But unfortunately, he's going to have Colton Harvey to the outside. I don't know that you want to make the move yet anyway. If you're there, that like Corbin Simmons, Andrew Moore, Richard Fletcher, I don't think 16-15 to go is the time to make the move, but I don't know that you can get much past 10 to go and try to start that run.
Yeah, you've got to get up to at least fourth. He's got to get one place to try and make that kind of last lap move, and that last lap move only works if you have help.
Continue.
I will say, I've just received a text message from Michael DeFeo. He is now losing the game 10-13, so it is our fault.
Again, bad life choices, bud. I'll tell you what, Tony Patton doing absolutely no favors to Colton Harvey. He's got to be getting frustrated back there. Losing a couple of spots. Now he's going to be back towards Max Williams again. And Harvey almost went around the last time he was near the bumper of the 36. The problem I think that that Richard Fletcher may have here is he knows that Andrew Moore and Corbin Simmons are going to try the move. If he doesn't go with them, he risks being hung out to dry. If he does go with them, he could be pushing an opponent to the win.
And that's the tough thing about Daytona is, on one hand, you're pushing an opponent to the win. On the other hand, if you push the opponent to the win, you're going to finish second or third. So if you're sitting back there in 10th, a second or third finish doesn't sound that bad.
What's really going to complicate things here for the inside lane is the fact that you have Tony Patton and Colton Harvey on the outside of the racetrack. Corbin Simmons might be able to pull out. Oh, there's almost contact. They're 3 wide. Moore now down to the inside. I think he's going to have to grab at least off the throttle a little bit. Gives the spot up. That's going to put Fletcher up to 4th. Now those questions go out the window.
Right where I said he needed to be to go for the win. You have to be at least 4th.
Top 4 are going to be all lined up, passing some lap traffic. 3 wide through the tri-oval, 12 to go. Top 5 now lined up, and Fletcher may be able to get some drafting help here from Andrew Moore. Again, he's really in that kind of sucker position. If Simmons goes out of the 3rd position, Moore, Kevin Dick, Max Williams, they're probably going to head for the outside. What does Fletcher do in that instance?
That's a tough choice. Either you go up and block and try to tail that, or try to head that run, or you sit where you are and hope that run stalls out.
Yeah, it's really not Corbin Simmons' call when he decides to go. It's kind of when he gets the shove, I guess, when you see the momentum start to develop.
That's one thing the Earnhardts had nailed down. It's almost like they could see the air coming off of the cars. And that's a skill you get doing the plate racing. When I was big into doing those Mitchell Qual plate races every night, like he tried to right there. That might have cost him. But you can almost see the air and see the momentum of what he's doing.
Tony Patton trying to get around the outside of Corbin Simmons. How about the 86 car? He is on a march toward... Oh, there's contact! They're going to go around down to the infield. Caution is out. Colton Harvey able to get past Fletcher just before the caution flies.
I know we're not supposed to root for people, but this Fletch story is such a good, feel-good story. Bad luck's turning around. Threads the needle through there. Oh, man.
Let's take a look here and see Tony Patton having the issue. Little bit of contact with Corbin Simmons. Take a look and see what happened here. Patton tried to come down, just no room. Lap car making contact with Corbin Simmons, and that will put us under the caution flag once again. Now it's going to be Hunter Waters at the head of the field. Down to 9 laps to go. We are going to get a restart before regulation would end. But we can't forget, there is still a shot at overtime.
And I believe SRC does unlimited overtime, which means we could be here till midnight if they really wanted to wreck every race car in the field.
Yeah, if they decided to go that route, yes, it would be an option for them. Good evening, Miss Nikki Worsler. Let's go Fletch and WWR. Thank you for checking in with us.
So we have quite the pickle here at the front of the field with Hunter Waters leading off this restart, followed by Will Worsler. So you're going to have a WWR 1-2 here on this restart. And I don't want to say that's a recipe for disaster because they're probably not going to wreck. But it is a recipe for disaster for the rest of the field. Those guys are so coordinated. It's almost like watching synchronized swimmers.
Well, yeah, the only problem is Worsler is going to restart on the outside of row 1. Colton Harvey is going to restart inside of row 2. Fletcher will restart outside of row 2. So you're going to have 2 Will Worsler cars nose to tail on the outside lane. This is really going to take some coordination and may even require Hunter Waters to give up 2 spots on the restart just to get the WWR cars in line. And there's no guarantee that happens. Right behind Colton Harvey is going to be Andrew Moore Jr.
Not only that, we have seen from the past, the WWR guys have a boys have at it attitude, which is what I love to see out of a team. Hey, all of our guys are good. We want all of our guys to win. They're all capable of winning. Every one of us will fight to get that win. So, as coordinated as they are, I don't know that they're going to do that, and Hunter Waters is going to go to third position. Again, boys have added attitude. Hunter Waters is going to go for the win, same way Will Worsler is, and the same way Richard Fletcher is. And actually, that's going to be a 3-car-long train on the high side with AJ Digby sitting in the 6th spot for the WWR guys. Again, those guys are going to work together until we get to the last lap of this race.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe it isn't as difficult as it seems if Hunter Waters just takes off and gets ahead of Will Worsler. Just give up the inside lane. If you can put all 4 of them together in a nice shove through 1 and 2, you may be able to clear all 4 of those cars.
Absolutely, or even have so much momentum on the high side that the bottom lane has nothing for it. The WWR guys are definitely at an advantage here, but you have guys like Colton Harvey, Andrew Moore, Max Williams, all guys that want to win. I almost feel like they're going to subconsciously work together, kind of thwart WWR.
Well, at some point, maybe there's a benefit to not being able to communicate in some respects, because when you really think about things, you kind of just have to trust the guy in front of you and, hey, we're going. There's no time to think. You just have to act and get yourself to the front.
Yeah, for this to work for WWR, they have to be perfectly coordinated. If they're just a tick off, this whole plan falls apart, and you're going to see either Colton Harvey or Andrew Moore truck their way up onto the front of this field. And actually, that's a 4-car train on the top because you have Johnny Avila in that 4th spot on the high line.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch how this one plays out.
Is Hunter Waters a team player here, or boys have at it? He's going to get the jump. Will he move high?
I think he has to cover the bottom until the top starts to move. Once the top starts to move, there he goes. Now he's up the racetrack. It's going to open the inside lane for Colton Harvey. Oh, what a shove from Andrew Moore Jr. as well. 5 Will Worsler racing cars lined up nose to tail on the outside lane. Inside lane will be Harvey, followed by Moore, Max Williams, then the 95 of Alex Ling.
It's WWR versus the field right now. Can they get themselves grouped up close enough to get something going?
I don't.
Hunter Waters just throw away this race trying to help the team out.
Well, maybe not. Here comes Max Williams up on the outside. He wants a piece of Andrew Moore Jr. 5 to go here at the line. Waters is going to have to give Williams a shove to the head of the field. And then hope things start to work out for them a little bit. 2 clean lines of race cars down the back straightaway at the World Center of Racing.
WWR guys getting
there's contact! Big wreck towards the back of the field.
Fletch gonna save it, maybe? Yes, he does.
Fletcher saves it. Corbin Simmons was involved in a big way. Johnny Avila also making heavy contact. Cody Porter looks like he may be junk down on the inside of the racetrack. We are under caution with 4 laps to go. We're heading to overtime. Oh, big hit there from Corbin Simmons as well. Several cars going to be involved with this one. Max Williams will have the lead of the race. Max Williams and Colton Harvey will line up on row number 1. Hunter Waters, Andrew Moore Jr. on row 2. Will Worsler, Alex Link on row 3. Richard Fletcher, Jacob Williams on row 4. Will Worsler Racing Cars will restart 3rd, 5th, and 7th for this restart. Also 9th with the 0-3 of Brad Allison. Where did Brad Allison come from? What a drive tonight for the 0-3 to get himself back into contention. Seeing Nolan Petty checking in the comments, showing some love for Colton Harvey. Man, this one is going to be fun down the stretch. I think we're down to 9 cars that may not have much, if any, damage. Now, we did have a couple of cars come down pit lane, including Richard Fletcher, Cody Porter, Johnny Avila, Corbin Simmons. This second half of the season turning into one to forget for Johnny Avila. We can't forget that there is still a year-long points battle that is coming into play here. And that year-long points battle includes a top prize of a NASCAR-style sim racing wheel, courtesy of simspeedshop.com. The wheel itself, not the direct drive and all that kind of stuff. But this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out when we start counting up the full season-long point standings.
Yeah, this race is kind of taking a turn.
We've gotten the 1 to go signal. Still seeing 3 laps to go on the board. So we are heading for overtime. Row number 1 will be Max Williams and Colton Harvey. Row 2, Hunter Waters and Andrew Moore Jr. Row number 3, Will Worsler and Alex Link. They're going to be followed by Jacob Williams and Brad Allison. Richard Fletcher going to restart in the 9th position. Richard Smith, the 2nd, I think is going to line up on the outside, but he may be heading to the rear. And because of the pit stop, Fletcher is going to have some lap traffic that sits in the way as well.
It's going to be a long shot, but I like long shot bets, especially the plate tracks.
Pre-race, Patrick Byrne made a bet that we would not have a repeat winner this season after tonight's race. The only winner entered in the race is on the outside of the front row as the green flag goes in the air. Good restart for Max Williams, maybe a better restart for Colton Harvey. 2 laps to go. We are into overtime.
If Harvey wins this thing, you get a crisp $10 bill when I come visit you. If not,
see what this is going to look like down the back straightaway. We could see a yellow flag before they get to the start-finish line. Oh, Moore and Harvey almost make contact. Max Williams right back up under Colton Harvey. Last time they were here, Harvey almost spun in turn 2.
do we get a caution or are we going to get the white flag here?
White flag is out. 1 lap to go. And how about the shove from Max Williams for Colton Harvey? Good Lord. This is going to be a huge run for the 7 of Hunter Waters. If they can get this timed right, Hunter Waters could be in a prime position. Here comes Max Williams to the outside. Waters is going to be right there. Link right behind. Waters now up under the back end of the 8 through 3 and 4.
How does Waters go for the move here? Is he going to go for a move? He's going to push him high.
Oh, he puts him low. There's contact. To the line. Drag race. Max Williams wins. Andrew Moore Jr. comes home 3rd in the infield. What a finish. Max Williams gets the win over Hunter Waters and Andrew Moore Jr. Margin of victory, how about 8/100ths of a second?
If I want to finish Daytona, the only thing I'd like better than that is a photo finish, because that was freaking awesome.
Take a look at this one. The leaders make contact, but watch Andrew Moore. Brad Allison finished 5th, just ahead of Colton Harvey. Harvey started on the outside of row number 1 for the restart and finishes the night in the 6th position. That's how you get it done there, gentlemen. Johnny Avila, Tony Patton caught up in the junk at the end of this one. There's your race winner, Max Williams for YJ Esports. While he burns the house down, let's take a look at your race results. 84 thousandths of a second separating Max Williams and Hunter Waters. And then it was a tenth, about a tenth and a half, separating 3rd place Andrew Moore from 7th place Will Worsler. Andrew Link, Brad Allison, Colton Harvey finishing in the middle of that one. Johnny Avila, Jacob Williams, and Richard Smith round out your top 10 here tonight. My goodness. Max Williams absolutely grenades the motor doing the donuts. 11 through 15 tonight go to Cody Porter, Richard Fletcher, Corbin Simmons, AJ Digby, and Tony Patton. Thomas Wilhite, Kevin Dick, John Moeller, Tim Knott, Daniel Pinkston, and Troy Haight will round out the field. Something tells me there is some beef possibly here as well based on some of the comments that we saw in the official race chat here, but let's see, we can't get Hunter Waters, and we just got to find Andrew Moore Jr. here. There, we got him. But first, we have got to start off tonight talking to our race winner. I don't know where he came from. The insanity that was everything about Daytona. absolutely spectacular all night long. Let's bring him into the booth with us and talk to our race winner tonight, Mr. Max Williams. And I tell you what, Max, the car was, you were pretty good all night. You obviously had some contact. We saw you kind of get Colton loose a little bit early in the race, but man, that thing was an absolute hot rod late in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we discussed at the end of the Talladega race that this is kind of like my team's specialty, so we obviously have these ones circled on the calendar. Started in the back, just kind of wanted to feel everything out. It's usually how we like to do it. It was pretty chill for the first 20 or so laps, I'd imagine. We did get separated, though. There was some pretty heavy side drafting going on, but nothing too bad, so we worked our way up. We led the second pack for a while. Couldn't make it on fuel for stage 2, so we came in and pitted and was able to push Corbin back up in front of the leaders and get our laps back the hard way before that second stage ended. And then, the second half was a little bit more chippy, just things going on and such. I don't know, just super speedway stuff at the end of the day. Well, we kind of had a mixed bag. Jacob got wrecked early on. Corbin got wrecked late. Was kind of on my own there at the end, except for Cody Porter and Alex Link were helping us out too. Kind of a technical alliance, so that was pretty cool. So I had a little bit of help. That final restart, I didn't have almost any, just because of the way the cards fell. So, we were just pushing with all our might to get Colton back out front. I was just hoping he was going to be able to handle it because that was kind of, we weren't going to win it getting stuck on the bottom. We had to go outside and get the momentum. Hunter came with me on that last lap and was able to hold him off, throw a good block. Almost got wrecked. I know it's not on purpose, but in the heat of the moment, I'm like, wow, I'm almost getting turned here. So that was pretty scary, but I was able to hang on through it and get the first win of the season.
I say, talk us through that last kind of corner or so. I mean, Hunter was absolutely all over you through turns 3 and 4. And then the blocks and stuff started to happen. And we, off of 4, Patrick asked the question, does Max make a move? And the reality was you really couldn't just hold the yellow line there. Kind of would have made you a sitting duck.
Yeah, so I think haven't been in this position too many times. Usually have a teammate or something where we can come across the line and it's all fine and dandy. But I know if he's right on the back bumper, he can just side draft me. And with the way that it works now, I would have just gotten sucked back like a rock in water. So the initial thought was just kind of defend the yellow originally and just kind of go up if we see him, but don't give him a whole lane. I didn't think I left too much room on the bottom. I was able to get back down in front of him and close the door. I have to go look at it again, but it was definitely a little bit sketchy coming through the tri-oval. But that last 2 laps, that was a heck of a time. Had a good restart. Then the outside line had all that momentum coming to the white. Colton came down in front of me. And I knew I was going to have to push him clear to have a chance. And we almost had a little bit of a separation there, 2 or 3 tenths before the rest of the field came up. And Hunter was the one to help facilitate the race ending win there. So, yeah, it was really exciting. Gave great pushes all night. I think I'll have a little bit more. Hopefully I get some more friends for Talladega. I hate that Mike McConville couldn't be here. He had this one circled too after how well we worked together at Atlanta. But yeah, was able to throw the right block, was able to push well. It was a really great night.
Well, and with some of the incidents that happened tonight, with Tyler not being in the race, things are really closing up in the point standings. You were 111 back. You're going to be inside the top 10, definitely just finishing as far as you did ahead of Thomas Wilhite. What's the goal here for the rest of the season now? Do you start thinking points and are looking at a top 5 or do you kind of just keep shooting for wins?
So the first couple races of the second half of the season, just really bad luck. We were 1 caution away from winning the Michigan race. We had that extra set late. It didn't pan out. We finished like 12th. Watkins Glen, I sped the pits, had top 5 speed there. So just silly mistakes to put us back. But I know we have almost top 5 speed. Really, I think we were a top 5 car without drop weeks, and the drop weeks got added in. Had some connection issues at the Charlotte race, which was a bummer. But I think we have top 5 speed. I just go out each every week and just try and get the best result. Not these guys. That's why it's even better to win, because I know we got some serious speed here. Johnny Avila, Kevin Dick, the whole WWR crew. So we don't really come in thinking I expect to win. I hope to win at super speedways especially. So that's kind of like we got circled, but we just hope for consistency the rest of the season. Just get that top maybe 7, top 6, top 5 if everything falls our way second half of this season. But yeah, I'm super excited.
That's fantastic. All right, brother. Congratulations on picking up your first win of the season here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Absolutely. Well, first shout out to all the league admins putting this on. It's a great way to come out and spend a Wednesday night. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast. I'm definitely going to go watch this one back and see how it all unfolded from the eye in the sky. Obviously, shout out to all the YJ Esports guys, Corbin, Art, Mike McConville. Thanks, Cody and Alex for showing up. But yeah, just a good team effort tonight, and we look forward to next week.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And man, that one, very always fun to hear a jacked up race winner. That's for sure. Now we got to get ready to talk to the guy who about came home first, ultimately finishing just a tick back here in the second position. Hunter Waters, I tell you what, talk us through that last restart and kind of where the thought process was, because coming to the white flag, you were inside lane, 5th, 6th position, and man, then all of a sudden you were running up front.
Yeah, honestly, I wish that it would have went green from that caution with about 7 or 8 to go, whenever it was. But Max had he timed his restart well to have me push him. I tried to just stay on his back bumper. I wanted to plan to make a move out of turn 4. Obviously, wasn't able to get that pulled off. However, congratulations to him for that win and that race-winning move. But I'm definitely happy with second place. Daytona's always a wild card, so I'm not complaining with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a big night in the points for you as well here. Picking up a bunch of points on Colton, who was 15 ahead of you. Kevin having some issues. Will finishing in 7th. You could be sitting right towards the very top of the table here with Tyler not racing tonight. Too early to start thinking championship here for the fall season?
Well, I've definitely lacked some confidence here recently in the couple of leagues that I run, but I've had some good performances of late, so maybe I can kind of turn that into some momentum. I think I need a little bit of luck to fall my way if I was to contend for a championship. These guys are incredibly talented, and so I understand what kind of challenge they present, absolutely. So just a lot of hard work would have to go into it, and who knows what can happen.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, got to shout out everybody at Will Warsaw Racing. Hopefully Tyler's doing all right dealing with the hurricane. A little bit unfortunate as far as finishes for some of the guys tonight. I know Johnny was running up front earlier, but at least a solid ending really for most of us. Appreciate everybody up in the booth, Sam and Jordan putting the league on, Law Chevrolet Buick. And I appreciate you guys and the broadcast. Look forward to watching it back.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And man, that one was fun. Third place tonight, a guy we don't get to talk to very often, which is, I'm not sure how that works. But Andrew Moore Jr., always up towards the front of the field.
Yes, always up there.
Oh, man. I'm having some tough luck this season, but yeah, this is a good finish. I'm satisfied with it.
Talk us through this one, because it seemed like everybody was getting damage at some point here tonight. Your car looks relatively clean as we come to the white flag. This was not an easy one to keep things clean.
It wasn't, and I don't know if I was completely clean because I got bumped pretty hard by somebody on the outside once, but I was getting bumped all night from the sides and the rear and the front.
That's
I'm surprised it wasn't worse.
Something different to these next-gen cars is how they plate race. It's not like the Gen 6 car where you could kind of try to slow down the car next to you with a side draft. It's more about you gaining speed from it. Everything about these cars just feels different in how they run at the big places.
Yeah, I really like them. It's just they need a little more power, maybe 100 more horses.
Andrew, I'd like to get your opinion on this. In addition to what Chris said, would you say these cars almost feel like what the Gen 4 cars almost looked like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
They definitely feel older because they get more loose, especially in the super speedways. A lot of people are getting loose on exit.
That's an interesting one. I would not have seen the next gen car kind of handling more like the old stuff, considering it's based off of a V8 supercar type chassis, kind of GT car-ish feel. Those things are usually pretty planted. It's an interesting perspective. What are your thoughts here now? You're going to pick up some points as we start in towards the midpoint of the fall season. I can't believe we're saying that already. Excuse me. Do you start looking for, hey, I want a top 5 in points, or do you set the sights a little bit higher?
Well, since this is a points championship, I gotta perform for the rest of the season because I didn't have such good luck here at the beginning of the season. So I gotta perform the rest of the season if I want to have a shot.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations once again on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, talk us through real quick coming out of turn 4. You see the leaders start to get a little wobbly. All hell starts breaking loose, and somehow you're third from 5th or 6th.
Yeah. At that point, I was just gonna try to side draft whoever's at the bottom. Brad Allison, kind of a teammate behind me. He was gonna push, but then someone went up the middle, so he just darted out. Like he had no choice there. So, and then I got tug and pushed down, and considering the circumstances, I'm surprised I got third, and I'm happy with it.
Well, great run tonight to 3rd place. And before we let you go, get all those big sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yep. iRacing, Torque Wrench Motorsports, Jordan Berry, teammate Kevin Dick, Brad Allison. It's a good night.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And watching this one from the focus cam in slow-mo, my goodness. Yes. We'll take a 10th and a half between multiple cars. Yeah, we'll call it a bumper and half a front tire, the distance between 3rd and 4th. Absolutely fantastic show tonight by the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club. And we got a whole lot more coming up this week, too. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be Oval Week for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. They're heading to Phoenix with the open dogleg. Going to be absolute insanity around that place. I'm hearing no downforce is still flat the entire way around the racetrack. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Pack racing in open wheel cars. It's going to be a blast. Also, the Ezra IndyCar Series, they are heading off to, I believe, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Roval, which will be interesting to watch. Turn 5 is a big bowl right on the outside of Oval Turn 2. Fantastic stuff. Don't want to miss that one coming up at 8:30 tomorrow night. Should have Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright for the High Side Hustle at 7 p.m. in the East. But with that, time for Patrick and I to get the heck on out of here. For Bizzle and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these broadcasts happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.